They went straight to the finals for a reason, Chev. It's not because they weren't that good. They immediately went to the finals with Joel Anthony as their center.
They did immediately go to the finals. Why did they immediately go to the finals?
Because they had 3 top 10 players in the effing NBA collide together, and they happened to make it work with a little bit of role players that they had outside of that. That's why.
Well, 3 of the top, they had 2
one
top
of them
10 NBAs, and then
the
other one third, like top 20. Nigga, don't say 3 of the top 10. Because Chris Bosh wasn't top 10 in the NBA.
French top 10. Is that better?
No, ain't no fringe. He's not on the
He was
fringe.
averaging like 24 and 12 before he got over there.
But it don't matter. He still wasn't the fucking top 10.
I think one of the beautiful things about this is we can now have the conversation in hindsight. Was the Miami Heat minus LeBron better than... I'm like, were they better than the Bulls minus Derrick Rose? Because we saw what they were minus Derrick Rose not long after he got hurt.
Say that again?
Were the Miami Heat minus LeBron James better or worse than the Chicago Bulls minus Derrick Rose? Same cores.
Miami is better than Chicago if they lose that.
I mean, Derrick
100%.
Rose.
We saw that.
No, we didn't. No, we did not. Hold on. Do not play revisionist history like that. Chris Bosh had them blood clots. Chris Bosh had them blood clots immediately thereafter. That next season, that's when he started dealing with that. So it was not the same team.
I think he had a season.
But Derrick had the same team, and what were they? When Derrick tore the ACL, how bad were the Bulls? They were terrible, weren't they?
They went to like 4 or 5 seed every year. But they didn't just lose Bron, though, was the point. They lost Bron and Bosh.
Yeah.
I thought Bosh got...
So, yeah, if you lose your top 2 players on the team, yeah, you're probably not going to be good. What happened the year after that? Didn't they go back to the playoffs once they retooled some shit and Wade was still there? They went back.
To just the playoffs.
Right.
The Bulls, with a healthy Derrick Rose, were a 1 seed. The Bulls, absent of said Derrick Rose, were...
Wait, you said the Bulls without Derrick Rose were a 1 seed?
No, he said with.
Bulls with Derrick Rose, with a healthy Derrick Rose. They won 62 games. They were phenomenal. Derrick Rose, the most exciting point guard I ever watched in my life in real time. That season was so much fun. I just didn't have him as MVP.
But LeBron wasn't... If you think LeBron could have won MVP, that's fine. But to say he was robbed is crazy. He wasn't robbed.
Isn't that what
There's a difference between...
You think it could have been somebody else?
No, if you think, like, you know, I could have seen this person winning it versus, like, nah, they just flat out robbed him. There's a difference.
Robbed is like Donovan Mitchell winning the MVP this year. That's, in my opinion, robbed. Like, if Jokic... That's not robbery. Robbery is like, you know...
Yeah.
Right.
Chicago, healthy Derrick, 50 wins. Chicago, Derrick absent, 45 wins.
Okay. What are we to do with that information?
And in hindsight, LeBron's teams look like super teams because he's on them. And we saw the nigga win 60 games with no one.
Why are you ignoring the fact that they did just lose Bron, though?
They didn't lose.
I accepted the fact. You just felt like repeating it.
I had to look it up, too.
You said, no, because you're saying, okay, so what exactly point are you making? You saying Bron is the only reason why they're viewed as a super team?
Yeah.
So you're saying if you take Bron off of that and you place Kevin Durant instead, that's not a super team?
That's essentially OKC. We had it already. So, no.
Kevin Durant, Dwyane Wade, and Chris Bosh. When did OKC have that?
Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden.
Young Russell Westbrook.
Hold on. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden. Hold on. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal. Yeah, we saw that.
Ain't none of them players that from with Dwyane Wade. So what are we talking about? None of them players that from with prime Dwyane Wade.
James Harden's right behind him. You're not going to get closer to Dwyane Wade.
Did they play in Brooklyn? Yeah,
they were pretty good too.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
When they were playing together, very good.
When they played together for them 20, 30 games they had?
Yeah, excellent. Super team, no.
Easy.
Okay, so what is the point you're making? None of them are effing with Dwyane Wade. Nobody you mentioned. Russell Westbrook was a pup. He was not effing with Wade yet at that time.
Russell Westbrook was a pup. Okay.
He was.
All-star Russell Westbrook.
He wasn't effing with Wade yet at that point in time.
The difference between Russ with KD and Russ without KD is the ball more. It's responsibility because now there was no James, there was no Kevin Durant. You have to be the entire offense.
So you're saying Westbrook did not get better?
Magically someone else.
So Westbrook didn't get better 2, 3, 4 years after that?
Marginally. Dwyane Wade didn't get worse. Like, he didn't get 2009 Dwyane Wade. Dwyane Wade will tell you in the middle of their Miami run, his knees were shot.
And he still was top 5 in the league in scoring.
Cool.
And average what? 28 a game in the finals?
Which finals?
2011.
So their first one, and I said the middle of their Miami run, that was 4 years?
Oh, my bad. I thought you said middle of that season. You said middle of
not
that
the season.
run. Okay.
I'm talking about
when they got together, Chef. You're fast forward. When they got together, if you take
Bron, we're living in the future.
If you take Bron away and you place KD and you have Durant, Wade, and Chris Bosh, are you saying that would not be a super team?
That is exactly what
in 2010. Okay. You got it.
They're about Oklahoma City.
That's not Oklahoma City. That is not Oklahoma City at all.
I'm going to ask you, how many super teams have you seen in your lifetime? Because maybe we have differences on what a super team is in general.
Yeah,
I mean, super teams? That's a good question.
How many have you seen?
I would say Golden State.
Okay.
I would say Miami.
Which one?
You know which one, nigga.
Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Cleveland.
Okay.
I've seen some attempts at super teams. I'll leave those out.
Only completions.
That might be it.
Yeah, I only have Golden State.
Yeah, I agree. I only have Golden State, and that's that KD year.
Only have Golden State?
As a super team, I only have Golden State, yes.
You don't have Boston as a super team?
No.
Paul Pierce, KG, Ray Allen. It's not a super team?
No.
They won a championship, not a super team? Fuck out of here.
I don't think a championship makes you a super team.
A championship doesn't make you a super team because you didn't say the Lakers and the Shaq and Kobe Lakers were better than every team we just talked about except probably the Dubs.
So that wasn't. I was just about to get to them. I was going backwards.
If you put 3 top 10 players in the league on your team, that is an effing super team.
Yeah, that's where I think we have a difference on what a super team is. I don't care that you have names if the rest of your team is trash, because historically that's not going to win.
So the Spurs
Kevin
got
Durant
to be a super team.
Was essentially a replacement for Harrison Barnes on a 70-plus win team.
Well, I'm not saying Golden State wasn't a super team. So I mean,
that's one thing. Kevin Durant off of Golden State is Golden State without Kevin Durant was still either a title contender, if not the favorites, because they just won and were a 60-plus win team. LeBron, Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh with that core, Carlos Arroyo, Mario Chalmers, Joel Embiid, Shane Battier, down. No Bron. Middle playoff team, 4 or 5 seed, maybe even a 3.
They were a 3 the year LeBron left.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, that's where we got a difference of opinion. If you put Luka, Giannis, and Joker together, that's an effing super team.
Yeah, if everyone else is a G
I don't care if they all go to Utah. Nigga, that's a super team.
If everybody else is G League.
The last season don't got nothing to do with now.
And also, that's different because all of them are better. Well, not all of them. That's a different level of... All right. Giannis right now is better than Dwyane Wade in 2011. Joker right now is better than Dwyane Wade in 2011. Luka might be.
disagree, but all right.
You're taking a 2011 Dwyane Wade over this Giannis Antetokounmpo? This one right here?
Well, we're going 10-11. So, no, not Giannis. Definitely not Giannis. I think Giannis is the best player in the league right now. So, no, I'm not going to say Giannis.
What?
2011.
Giannis the best player in the league?
That's not crazy. I'm not upset with that.
The nigga don't got a jump shot. How the fuck he the best player in the league?
Shaq didn't either.
He was just the most dominant. That didn't mean he was the best player.
Giannis is the most dominant active player now. Probably.
That don't mean he's the best player in the
Was
league.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar ever the best player in the NBA?
Nigga, how would we know?
What?
Was Will Chamberlain ever the best player in the NBA? Was Bill Russell ever the best player in the NBA? Being a jump shooter is not a requirement for being the best player in the NBA. It never has been.
As long as you can score, it don't really matter, you know?
Literally.
Good jump shot.
That is just another way.
But if you take, my point is, if you take, even in any era, you take 3 top 10 players in the league and you mash them all in one team, even if that team was garbage the year before, which Miami was not, but even if they were, you put them all in one team, anybody can work with that. Like that's you are a finals contender. You have a legitimate shot to go to the.
They weren't garbage the year before, but they had to gut their roster to get all these 3 together. Remember that.
I mean, why'd they go to the finals, yeah?
And Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, James Harden, Russell Westbrook were on the same team. And
you left all context out of that. Literally all context.
That's what you did, nigga. You said if you put nah. I ain't gonna put this down. You just said if you take 3 top 10s, the rest doesn't matter. You said if we get 3 top 10s, the rest is super team.
But you're not calling them 3 top 10s, right?
And did not do that.
But are you calling them 3 top 10s in the league?
Kawhi was the top 10? Kawhi was the top 10? Was Paul George the top 10?
Arguably.
Okay, cool. Beard?
No.
Beard not all right. Okay, cool.
At that time, no.
Cool. If you want it, cool. Beard was about as good as Chris Bosh. At that time, still.
You asked a specific question, nigga. You said, was that a top 10 player in the league? The answer is no.
Damn. Tripping. Beard, Kyrie, Kevin, not top 10s?
Beard, Kyrie, Kevin on Brooklyn never got to. Okay. Let me be very specific. That is absolutely a super team. The super team didn't work because they never got to play together. In those 2 years they were together, they never got a true chance to play together. They probably played less than 30 games together. I felt that team was going to steamroll to the finals if they would have all actually played together.
Not mad at it.
So Brooklyn was technically a super team. It just never panned out because the niggas was always hurt.
I also want to say, your top 10 player Chris Bosh made an All NBA team once, and it was in 2007. He never finished top 10 in the MVP race in his entire life. Mm-hmm. Never was first team All NBA ever. It was second team once again in 2007. Okay. And yet you beating the drum that 3 top 10s, 3 top 10s. I
said fringe.
You went back to top 10s. You only said fringe once where a nigga was like, Chris Bosh was really top 20. And
because because honestly, I just didn't have the brain power right now to really try to argue Chris Bosh being top 10 in 2010. So that's why I'm like, okay, whatever. He was in an argument. Like,
I can. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Kobe Bryant, Dwight Howard, Carmelo Anthony, Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, Darren Williams, Amari Stoudemire. Chris Paul.
Okay.
He better than anybody at that time?
I'm not having that discussion, so continue your point.
Duncan as well.
Duncan was...
Duncan wasn't good. I'm saying...
Niggas hella down playing Bosh. That's crazy.
Bosh was top 20. But top 20 got to make you a super team now because, the rules you gave was 10. And he wasn't that.
He was a fringe top 10 player when he went over there. He had, to me, if you're a nigga who got your own damn team You averaging 20 and 10. You've been to the playoffs. Like, you're like a franchise guy. Now, you took those 3 franchise guys and you put them together with the best player in the league and a top 5 player in the league. Like, that's not arguable at all at that time. Like, yeah, you're going to steamroll through the F and East. Yes. So you don't get MVP for having a team like that at that time unless you do something spectacular like you did the year after that where you were flirting with the Lakers record of a winning streak and stuff like that. That's when you get MVP.
Where we're separating is you just said even right now when you have a team like that and you listed having the best player. That's the person we're talking about. He didn't have the best player. He was. He didn't have LeBron James on his team. He was LeBron James. Mm-hmm. That's why they were a super team.
But I feel like if you take any super, like I feel like Durant on that team, that is a super team. You put Durant with Wade and Bosh. That's
Durant on that team is the Suns.
No, that's not. What the hell? What? Bradley Beal's an empty stats.
You got your own team. You averaging about 30. I think you're a franchise guy. Bradley Beal.
No. I don't care about you putting up. I don't care about you putting up.
Don't get you a franchise guy.
I don't care about you putting up a bunch of empty stats on a sorry team.
Okay. Now we get context. When you just said 20 and 10, it could have been anywhere. Anybody's 20 and 10 was cool, but like, all right, cool.
Yeah, you put up 30 on a sorry team, and nobody else was there to score, so you did it. Like, okay, cool.
You put up 20 and 10. The other bigs suck. You're the face. I'm like, you run the offense because nobody else is there to score. You want to leave because you know there's no chance of you being a contender. But
let me ask you this:
cool.
Kevin Durant instead of LeBron on that team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we got to move on because we got to talk about this.
Oh, you replace LeBron James with Kevin Durant on any team LeBron has ever been on, and they get worse.
Let me finish my question. Let me finish my question. Kevin Durant, Wade, and Bosh on that Miami 2010 team against LeBron's Clevelanders at that time. Who's winning that playoff series?
I'll go Miami.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's take it a step further. Does anybody in the NBA beat that Miami team at that time?
I think the same Denver Nuggets team that beat Miami would still beat Miami.
The same what?
The same, not Denver Nuggets,
Dallas.
Dallas Mavericks. It was the Denver-Dallas mix-up.
So you think Kevin Durant has a finals game that he scores 8 points in? You think Kevin Durant goes 4 straight fourth quarters not getting more than 2 points? You think Kevin Durant does that against Dallas?
I think Kevin Durant does none of the other things that involve basketball because, yes, contrary to sometimes what we say on All Grind Sports, you have to do more than score at a higher level than LeBron James. So, yeah, he could probably
Durant does do more
points.
See, and y'all be saying that about other players like LeBron is the only versatile player in the league. Why you act like all KD do is score?
I act like that's the only thing that there's even a conversation about him being better about. That's the only thing. There's even a convo about like whether or not Kevin Durant is better. It's scoring. And really just
But that doesn't mean he's bad at it. So he's good at those things. He's just not LeBron.
But I think scoring,
I'm not really very impressed by Kevin Durant as a defender at that time in his life.
And I think the things that you're saying,
Durant, I think he rebounds okay for his size.
Hold on. I think the things that you're saying, Durant, I guess, would need supplemented because it's not good as LeBron at. I think Wade would compensate for that. Because Wade does a lot of those things just as elite as LeBron does. At least prime peak Wade does.
He defended as well. I think he defended as well.
I mean, if you're talking size, rebounding just as well.
Yeah, but when we need the rebound, and you don't get it because you're 6'4",
and that's what Bosh was for.
We don't.
That's what Bosh was for.
We needed the ball.
Changes. Everybody's grown, now that's why it's changing. House party. man, I was fresh then, still is.